The NBA is absolutely horrified of this, as after multiple New York Knicks stars, including Jalen Brunson, have spoken out on the team's decision to fire Tom Thibodeau and replace him with Mike Brown. There has been a lot to show that the Knicks are about to get a lot better under Mike Brown's coaching than they were under Thibodeau, while also Josh Hart spoke on the New York Knicks signing his former teammate from their Laker days, and we're going to break all this down. A lot to go over, not much time to do it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. We're going to jump right into things as always. If you guys are part of that 66% that's not subscribed, make sure to subscribe for daily New York Knicks updates that you do not want to miss out on. We're having a bunch of fun on this channel, but let's jump into the video and talk about everything New York Knicks. As we know, Mike Brown was hired as the next head coach of the New York Knicks, and though the decision to fans was pretty split. I said that Mike Brown was not my first choice. I do think he's better for this team than Tom Thibodeau was, but I also was not the biggest fan of the Mike Brown hiring, as I do think there are certain blind spots that he does have, specifically on defense when it comes to playoff basketball. However, he is a solid coach, especially in year one. He's a good coach, and the Knicks are an offensively based team, or at least should be an offensively based team, and Mike Brown is going to have the Knicks doing that, and right there, that is a good thing to have. However, there obviously are going to be some issues the Knicks are going to have to rectify with Mike Brown that hopefully the assistant coaching staff will be able to take a hold of. But again, he wasn't the perfect hire, but he wasn't a terrible hire. However, I'm not the person who gets to decide that. And the Knicks stars, they spoke out on it, including Jalen Brunson, who had to say this on the Mike Brown hiring. I never had a relationship with him, meaning Mike Brown, but he always said kind words as an opposing coach, always shook his hand, said what's up, gave him a head nod. He's really animated. He wants the best for his team. He wants to push his team in any way, shape he can. So I'm excited for us, and I'm excited to see where he could take us. It should be fun. He's had a great journey to be where he's at now. I just have a lot of respect for guys who work hard, and I feel like he's worked very hard to be in the position that he's in and the way he goes about his business. Just getting to know him as a person, he's a great guy. So this is who it obviously matters the most for, is the Jalen Brunson rapport. And Mike Brown did get a glowing review from Brunson, who has admitted that he's never really coached or known Mike Brown too well. But Brunson seemingly is giving his approval, which is important. Now, Brunson's the captain of this team, and ever since Derek Jeter was the captain of the New York Yankees, the thought is if you're a captain of a New York sports team, you have to be buttoned up and you have to emulate Derek Jeter in one way or another. Jalen Brunson's done that. He's been very buttoned up. He's given very appropriate, safe, not too in-depth answers that are going to make the headlines blow off the page or anything. That's not what's going to happen here with Jalen Brunson when he speaks out. However, at the same time, it is important to note that Brunson is happy with the hiring because Mike Brown did demote Jalen Brunson's dad, Rick Brunson, to just a normal assistant coach and to not be the associate head coach of the team next year. Now, it's not clear who Mike Brown is going to hire as the associate head coach. They were interested in James Borrego, who got blocked by the Knicks. They were interested in Darvin Ham, who got blocked by the Knicks. So we're going to see who the Knicks go about hiring for this final spot. They were also interested in Phil Handy, who ended up signing on with the Dallas Mavericks, so they lost out on him as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where the Knicks go for that associate head coaching role and that one other spot. But Mike Brown has been open and saying that him and Leon Rose are going to work together on that. So Mike is open to the collaboration that Tom Thibodeau was not. And that was one of the big reasons why Tom Thibodeau got fired from the Knicks in the first place, was the lack of collaboration with the front office or interest in collaborating with the front office to make what's best for this team. Tibbs said he knew what was best, and the front office said, well, we think this, and Tibbs said, not my problem. I'm the head coach. I'm making the decisions. And the Knicks said, no, you're not. You're not making any decisions. But when it comes down to it, he's got the Jalen Brunson stamp of approval. And Deuce McBride also did speak on this recently as well, as McBride got to spend some time with Mike Brown in Vegas during the Summer League. And look, Deuce went out there and said, we're excited. I feel like the relationship he's already started to build with me and my other teammates have just been amazing so far. Now, the other two guys who Deuce was out there with were Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. So there's been a few guys who Mike Brown has gotten a chance to kind of hang out with, and so far things look good. I mean, everything seems pretty much what you want to hear from them. Deuce McBride clearly likes Mike Brown as a person already. Karl-Anthony Towns and Towns' dad have both been there as well. on top of the fact that we've seen Mikal Bridges there, and there's a photo of Mikal Bridges and Mike Brown together, and they both looked pretty happy to be there. Mikal clearly had some issues with Tom Thibodeau and Tibbs playing him 58 minutes a night, so it should be useful. And Deuce, there was a lot of thoughts that he had some issues with Tibbs because he wasn't playing enough minutes a night, which both those things were true. Deuce should have had more of Mikal's minutes just so things were less extreme for the Knicks. Deuce deserved to play more, and Mikal Bridges was better when he wasn't playing 39 minutes per game because he actually got rest, so his defense improved. So it'll be good to see how this all kind of continues to work out for this Knicks team. I just kicked something under me, so I had to look down, and it hurt. It was just part of my desk. That sucked. But not the point of the video. The point of the video is the fact that Deuce and Brunson both agree, and Josh Hart seemingly does agree as well on all things Mike Brown. He had a funny story talking about how he had a Michael Brown who called his phone. You can check that whole thing out on the Roommates podcast. Shout out to those guys over there. And Josh Hart said, obviously, he's been a part of some great organizations and some great teams. He's extremely competitive. Someone I think will work really well with the personality and personnel that we have here already. It's going to be great. So Josh Hart also saying the same thing, like that he's competitive and that Mike Brown, in a lot of ways, will be fairly similar to Tom Thibodeau personality-wise. I mean, Tibbs is less animated, but at the same time, they're both super competitive who are ultimately super just locked in on all film, and I think that's going to be good for the Knicks, and I'm excited to see where it goes for this Knicks team. I do like Mike Brown a lot, and he's gotten exterior support as well, as we've seen from Mark Jones, who said Mike Brown is a perfect fit for New York City. Mike can hang in the boardrooms, and he'll get on the gritty too. He'll coach them hard, but it'll come from a place of love. So again, there's similarities. The stuff that we loved about Tom Thibodeau, Mike Brown has those aspects. The stuff that we didn't love about Tom Thibodeau, Mike Brown has those remedies. For instance, an actual offense, and we've seen that come out. As mentioned by AOP NBA, great Twitter account. I really suggest you follow if you're a Knicks fan. He mentioned that, or they mentioned that, who knows if Mike Brown will be able to optimize the talent on the Knicks roster better than Tibbs could. This was on July 3rd, by the way, the day he got hired. That said, I would imagine their tempo picks up a good bit, saying that during the 3 years Jalen Brunson was on the Knicks, they've averaged 15.6 seconds per possession, the longest in the league, 19.5 seconds on the shot clock when crossing half court, the second least in the league, and 6.7 seconds until the first action, the seventh slowest in the league. During the same 3 years for Brown in Sacramento, 14.2 seconds per possession, the seventh shortest in the league, 20.1 seconds on the shot clock when crossing half court, the most in the league, and 6.2 seconds within the first action, the third quickest in the league. So look how fast it goes from the seventh slowest to the third quickest. It's that half a second. It's literally 0.5 seconds. Some of you might know where I'm going with this. Mike Brown has implemented something very important called the 0.5 rule. The 0.5 rule essentially is once you get the ball, you have half a second to know if you're going to shoot, dribble, or pass that ball. That's what that is. You're knowing what you're doing before you got the ball, and then you got 0.5 seconds to make the decision on the basis. You're going to move fast. It's going to be quick movements. You're going to go. So that already shows the exact 0.5 difference that the Knicks had. If the Knicks worked a split second faster every single possession, they probably would have been better against the Pacers too. So that was clearly something that they had to play catch up with constantly. So I do think it's going to work out well. And AOP also did mention, they quote tweeted that tweet that I just showed you, and they mentioned that through 3 Summer League games, the Knicks have the third fastest time crossing half court and the third fastest time to get into their first action, when last season they were the slowest team to get into their first action. So there has been a monumental shift for this Knicks team already that's being ran. Mike Brown's offense is being put into play during the Summer League, and we're seeing this now. We're seeing what we wanted about Mike Brown to already be coming true when it comes to how he's going to run an offense, which is excellent news for this Knicks team. Mitchell Robinson, also for the record, did agree when he was on his boat and was asked, what do you think about the Mike Brown hiring? He said it's a great pickup. Mitch will actually catch lobs in this offense too, because Mike Brown's a fan of fast-paced offense. Mitch loves to be a rim runner, so he's going to be able to get some lobs back. Mitch has said multiple times he wants more lobs, and he's annoyed that he doesn't get as many as he can. After he said that, Jalen Brunson did start to throw him more lobs. Mitch was on the Roommates podcast once, and he said about, he's like, yeah, I want to catch more lobs, and obviously the Knick point guard, who's the franchise player and one of the best players in Knicks history, and, you know, this fella right here, Mitch mentioned it to Jalen Brunson, and JB's like, Mitch, if you're cutting one side, if you're on that right side, if you're cutting on the left and I'm on the right, I'm not going to be able to get a lob over to you. I'm not tall enough. So obviously, RJ Barrett and Mitch had a great connection with those lobs, and Jalen Brunson hasn't fully fleshed it out, but he started doing it more because Mitch did ask. He was like, I want to be catching lobs. It's something I'm good at. And there's always been that thing with Mitch. You throw the ball anywhere in his stratosphere, he'll reach it he'll get it somewhere near him, and he'll just reach up and grab that ball and slam it down. He's incredible in the air, and the Knicks do need to use that more. You know Mike Brown is going to use that more, so I'm excited to see how Mitch fits in this offense. And also on top of all that, I'm excited to see how Jordan Clarkson fits in this offense. This man can run an offense himself, he can create his own shot for himself, and he likes to move fast as well. Jordan Clarkson, one of the newest Knicks, also does have the seal of approval from his former Lakers teammate Josh Hart, who had this to say on JC. Now, Hart said nothing at all. No, I'm kidding. Hart said that I was excited. I mean, he's a great dude. He's going to fit right into the culture that we have. Obviously, someone that create his own shot. Clarkson can break down the defense, and we needed that at times, last year. So it would be a great addition in terms of a role, and he's also a great locker room guy. So Jordan Clarkson hearing all the right things about him. Obviously, Josh Hart and JC are friends, so he's not going to trash him. And Clarkson's been interested in the Knicks for a while, and the Knicks have been interested in Josh Hart for a while. So another already built-in connection between Hart and Clarkson, who both will likely end up coming off the bench this season for the Knicks. So they'll get a lot of minutes together, and it will be nice to see because they're a very good duo that meshes well together because of Josh Hart's tendency to be more that scrappy glue guy, and Jordan Clarkson going out there to be that bench scorer, who last year Jordan Clarkson averaged more points off the bench than the entire Knicks bench averaged. So it's going to be a huge help. Guys, I love what the Knicks have done this offseason. Again, I think there were better coaches out there than Mike Brown, but I do think Mike Brown is an upgrade in regards to the way that this Knicks team is. If you ever play NBA 2K and you see like that system proficiency stuff where you could change like from grit and grind to pace and space to 7 seconds to triangle, there's a few other ones as well that I'm missing. The post-centric, perimeter-centric, balanced. Like those, if you ever see those, it like shows how many stars. The Knicks were playing in a defense one last year, which I would have given them like 2.5 to 3 stars for. The pace and space that Mike Brown's going to run, that's like 4.5 to 5 stars right there. So the Knicks are in a better offense for themselves, and I'm excited to see this season come. I love the summer, but I cannot wait for some Knicks basketball. The real stuff too, not the summer league or the preseason. Guys, like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. You made it to the weekend. Have a great day, and go Knicks.